imagination, right? And I feel like that stems into manifestation. When I was little, I wasn't into Michael Jackson. I wasn't a Michael Jackson fan. I was a Janet Jackson fan. And I said to my mum, I'm going to dance for Janet. Years go by, I have my children. I end up working with her. I had 3 days with her on set. And I think that experience and possibility landed for me. Keep going with imagination and creating and being the creator of not just your dreams and goals, but your day, because anything can happen.
Welcome to Trujectory, the podcast committed to helping you align with who you really are, your true self. The one who is so comfortable with their uniqueness, so in love with life, and so effortlessly able to manifest everything they always dreamt of. I want this podcast to be a resource to help you jump into the driver's seat rather than continuing as a passenger in your own story. Let's understand why we choose to hold ourselves back so we can shed the lies that we've programmed into our minds. We can heal the root causes and step into the epic human that we know we can be. If you're ready to start aligning with your trajectory, let's do it. Okay, I am so excited. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm getting a bit shaky. I've just had a big cry. A beautiful soul is with me today, Tiana Champion. Holy wow. Tiana, thank you so much for being here. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well. I'm doing so well. And I love that you introduced me as Tiana Champion.
Yeah, I came close. I actually had a Canterbury / Champion. I was like, I'm going to go with Champion.
You know what? Champion is perfect. You obviously know my family is Champion. I go by Tiana Canterbury just because, like, for my work and choreography and stuff like that. And the reason why is, like, my niece's name is Tiana and her surname is Champion. It's Mike's sister's daughter. So it's almost like, okay, we're sharing the same. And so everyone in our family calls me Tweety Bird. Because when she was little, she was like, that's my name. So look, you can call me Tweety Bird, Tiana Champion, Tiana Canterbury, Beyonce, whatever.
I love it. Queen of talent, this one. Oh my gosh. Honestly, so this beautiful soul is not only beautiful inside, she's a performer. She's a multi-talented performer in so many ways. I love your title on Instagram, self-belief specialist. I think that is so ace.
I love it too.
It's beautiful. So Tiana's been a contestant on a range of different TV programs, the latest one being The Bridge Australia, season 1. She's a dance scene expert for Red Bull. She owns and operates her own agency. She's a mother of 3, not just any kids either. She's a mother of 3 superstars in the making. She's the wife of a beautiful other superstar, Mike Champion, who has been a musician for years and just killing it in the industry. And as you know, each of you uniquely by yourselves are such powerhouses of light. That's why I got so emotional when Tiana just logged on. I just had to have a big cry because she just lets out so much love and radiance in everything she does. And she's genuine. And it's rare, right? You're just such a beautiful soul. So anyway, I'll stop gushing. I'll let you breathe.
And I just want to say to everyone, I appreciate as soon as I turned on this screen, and your tears were honestly like a warm welcome, because I know we were talking earlier about just having a nice hug and human connection and so forth. But even just to see you, like, welcome me with tears, like, that just hit straight in the heart. And so thank you so much for just starting off this conversation like that. Like, it means well. We get so caught up in what we're doing and where we're going and that when someone shares something so vulnerable and unique and so with essence and with love, it hits home and it feels like home. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad it was received that way. Not like, what? Where am I? What's going on? Have I jumped into a therapy session? No, it's so good to see you, hon. Tiana is someone that I have looked up to for years and years and years, and I haven't seen her. We haven't been in contact for almost a decade now, which is insane. And I hit her up going, do you remember me? And she's like, of course I remember you. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what a beautiful soul. And so she's been in this industry for so long and made so many waves, and I just want to dive in today and show people what it's like to be just so in your zone, in your vibe, and living your passion every day, because that's all I see when I see you and your whole family, and I just get lit up whenever I see you guys. So were you always this way as a kid? Like, tell me about you as a kid. Were you like little Beyonce? Or...
Yeah, I was. And I see it in my children now, but I definitely was. I mean, I was born in South Africa. I only came to Australia 33 years ago, which I was 10 years old. I'm 43 now. So 10 years old, came here. So in South Africa, we didn't, obviously back then in the 80s, you didn't have social media or anything, but dance was my thing, and I was known for dancing even from a young age.
Wow.
And I used to get the kids in our area together and teach them routines and put them in formation, but I honestly had no idea what that was called or what it was, but I just loved it, and I loved getting dressed up. Every party I wanted to dance. Like, it was definitely my thing. And I think from little, my mom always said if there was music being played, I'd be, bouncing. And when your mum says stuff, you're like, oh, that's what mums have to say. Until I had my children, I was like, oh my days. Okay,
it's just real. In the blood.
Yeah. Yep. So no, I've always known what I wanted for myself. Like, I not so much wanted, but what I loved, like what was my passion and what was the only thing I was focused on.
I love that. And like you said, there was no socials back then. There was probably barely a whole bunch of things on TV. So you're being a choreographer without knowing what a choreographer is. You just sort of started doing it.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It was, it definitely had its like, first it was dancing and dancing with everyone else and creating routines like with my brother and my best friend and stuff. And then it just led into, okay, so I got to make stuff for someone, like another artist, so that it's cool. It kind of had its organic way of getting me.
I love that. And that's the thing, you just followed that passion rather than sort of going, this is a side thing. Like me, for example, I used to love dance, and I'm only just getting back into it today. I was saying to you just before, today is the day I'm going back to dance class, and I feel like my life is starting again. But when I was younger, I was obsessed with it, but I had bought the story of that can only be a side hobby. That can't be a career. So this is, again, why I love bringing you on and going, no, guys, you can make a career out of anything that is your passion. It's incredible. Yeah. Did you have a good support system around you? Did you have lots of people going, oh, you want to follow that as a career? Or were you sort of like bolstered by support?
Well, I mean, again, South African parents, it's a side hobby. Like, we were into sports, and I was probably the only one into dance heavily, and my brother. But it wasn't a, your career is going to be that, I mean, even like years into being a choreographer, a dancer, working on TV, this and that, my mother would still be like, oh, so you're going to get a job? And I've had kids at this point, and, it's sort of... had the support in the sense of you're great at what you do, you're so talented, wow. But when it came to as a career, it was almost like a bit of a concern. Are you sure? And the one thing, like, now when I see students and their parents there and the support they get, it's so awesome. I mean, my parents didn't come and watch a show of mine until I was like, oh my gosh, in my late 20s.
Wow.
Yeah. Or even when Rome started dancing with me, that's when my parents and the kids, sorry, my kids are Rome, Micah, Rome and Lexus. Until they started to dance with me, my parents were like, oh my gosh, we want to come and watch. But I do appreciate that they weren't so heavily in there. I think they supported the idea that I loved dance and I was great at it. But when it came to work, I feel like they kept me grounded and humbled by, for example, I'd be working on So You Think You Could Dance, and my mother would call me while we're having a break and would say, but what are you cooking tonight for the kids? She wasn't so fussed over the glamorous.
Caught up with,
and that was super cool because
I love that.
It just, for me, it kind of kept that at the back of my head that, oh my gosh, yes, okay, I've got that after this. Yeah. So
I'm still
this
human.
Is fun, but I got this shit happening, so I love that. I really do. And that sort of set the tone for me on how, like, when it comes to dance and it being my career plus my passion and all of that, how important it is. And so I really appreciate that I probably didn't have those parents that were at everything.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fantastic.
Probably
and I
didn't
love
even
that
know
you
half
can...
of the things I did.
Exactly.
And still don't know half the things.
They'll see it eventually circulating on social media in like reels, like for the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
I love that you can look back though and appreciate that. Like that's really unique, because some people would go, oh, I wish I had the support I didn't. But that's what shaped you to be the performer that you are today. And you are so multitasking in every day, in every way, that it's like, yeah, you needed that grounding.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And because I work a lot, not only with my son, Rome, who's 17 now, who's like now in that age where it's, okay, you're becoming an adult. How do we do that transition? I'm not just working with him. There's a lot of other young talent his age that, you know, I mentor. So that is the story in their life, that where their parents might be full-time workers and they're not getting that support, or their parents are very, you know, your education comes first, which is very much true. And so it's almost like me having gone through it myself, being that support for them, and not just for them, also just educating parents as well, like how we can navigate through this, and how you know, just showing them that there is this world, and this world can be lucrative, and it can also be they can strive to be whoever they want. And so I love that I have had that experience, and I'm able to share it with someone else that might be thinking it's a bit of a negative side of their journey.
Yeah, wow, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. I really love that. So as this industry, it does have a bit of a competitive nature to it sometimes, right? If there are multiple people going for one role, or there might only be a finite amount of positions that can be filled, and, you know, yourself and other people might be going for these, especially as a self-belief specialist, which I just love. How do you maintain that belief in yourself when you come up against setbacks? What do you have a process, or what's your deal?
Ooh, okay, so I have always... I like to always reflect back on my life. And there was a time where I believe in the quantum field. I believe in manifestation. I believe
That's on the list we're going to talk about. Amazing.
I believe in all of that. And I'm not just saying it because now I'm older and I meditate and stuff like that. It was more of a reflection on so many levels. One was when I had my children, I couldn't understand how I couldn't feel the same in dance the way I used to before the kids. Or maybe when I had Lex, when I was still, you know, young and fit, my body bounced back. I was so deep in my dancing and my feeling and my commitment and my drive and even imagination while I was dancing. And then as I got older, I was like, why can I feel every ache and pain? I can't feel this movement. I'm not listening to the music. I'm not in my zone. And I wanted to go back into a time where I felt it so much, which was around my teens, early 20s. And I noticed that I did the most imagination creating. I was a creator then.
Conscious creator, yeah.
I had this zest for life. Even though I had no money, I was here, there, everywhere. Just had this zest for life. And I was like, wow, and now I have money. I have all the jobs that I want. Why does it not feel the same? And that's when I had to kind of check myself and realize that I was never in that competitive mind state back then. I just wanted to do and be and share the joy. Like, get me into a party and let me share my joy. It wasn't let me show you what my moves are. Let me share what I want to see your faces just light up. And that's when I realized that, okay, this is the shift. And that's when the challenge happened, being an adult in this world and having time and space be you're like, what am I doing? Yeah. I had to really do the work and understand. And so for me, I'm not trying to make other brands happy or meet a trend. I really am not. And it's all about having my own lane, but doing it with the Tiana flavor, the motherfunkin' flavor.
Yeah.
You know, I call myself the motherfunker.
Yeah, I love that.
Just because I love to swear one.
Yeah. That's a great way to
Dance,
do it as a mum.
I'm a mum, and when I dance, when you see me dance, I go. And so for me, it's and it's not I'm going to create my lane to show you. It's not that. It's just like I want to be in spaces where I feel I can tap into all those power points.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be in my third energy center of me feeling insecure or I'm not able to express myself the way I want to, because I've been in jobs where they book you for what you think you're going to be doing, and then next minute can you change this? Can you not do that? Can you da-da-da-da-da? And I was like, there's a way, and it's almost like how we do our business plans and all of that, and your SWOT analysis and all of that good stuff. I educate my kids now that let's focus on your journey and what makes you feel so empowered, and let's work on that. Let's focus on that from imagination and bring it right down to being grounded and feeling solid with where you're going. And to be honest, when you go through all of those stages and strategies, you've got so much work. You haven't even got time to be on social media to then judge yourself with what someone else is doing. Like, let them do their thing.
It's so true. Yeah, you're getting caught up with judgment. You got too much time on your hands.
Yeah. Yep. So to be honest, I've always well, not so much always. There was a period where I got caught up in that, and that's why I'm saying there's been so many levels that I had to reflect on a time that felt its best. And I wasn't going to go back to that time and do the same. I just wanted to evolve it. I wanted it to elevate, you know? So it then becomes the new you, and you start to find the new way of expressing and so forth. So yeah, long story short,
honestly, I love that. It's so first of all, got to dissect that a little bit.
Yeah.
First of all, you tapped into something so important, I think. I actually did a whole podcast solo episode on this exact topic the other day, which was called the creator mindset versus the competitive mindset.
Yes.
And that's what shifts everything. And that's what you were just saying. It's like you realize when you look back that you had never gotten caught up in that competitive mindset. And that's when you lose your true essence. You lose who you are because you're trying to be like other people, and you're believing you're in this scarcity mindset that there's not enough to go around, and fear comes in and it starts making you act in ways that you wouldn't act. So you're not actually able to represent what you can really be. And so I think that's fantastic. And no wonder you're emanating all this power now, because you're able to tap back into that and then reconstruct it for who you are today and really like push that forward. But also I love that you are encouraging your kids, and I do want to talk about this more later on, but how you're encouraging them to use their imagination and to just pull that in, ground that in. Like, that is so, so important. And I'm sure you were the same. When I was a kid, imagination was something that was laughed at. It was something that you only use when you're a kid, then you get rid of it. It's like everything in this entire reality that we live in has been created from someone's imagination. Before it was in form, it started in imagination. So I think there's like a moment right now in time where we're calling back the imagination and making sure that everyone knows this is important. Yeah. Don't laugh at it. Like, really treat it like a freaking canvas. You can do anything.
And I just want to this is where it locked in for me about that. Imagination, right? And I feel like that stems into manifestation, imagination. When I was little, I wasn't into Michael Jackson. I wasn't a Michael Jackson fan. I was a Janet Jackson fan. Maybe because that was the sister. Maybe I thought my brother was Michael Jackson and I was Janet Jackson. And I said to my mum, I'm going to dance for Janet, right? And I was little in South Africa, you know, whatevs. Yeah, okay. Years go by, I have my children, and now you get to an age where you're like, okay, backup dancing, it's, you know, it's still going to be dancing, but maybe not the backup dancing stuff. I end up working with her. It was one of those things where, you know, something happens in your life and you're like, I did not expect this. This came out of nowhere. With the whole job. And I don't use it to drop the name of Janet.
No, but it's a perfect example.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny? Like, this is the time where we had phones and social media and stuff like that. And it was this one job that I wasn't allowed to use my phone. They said it was very strict. I left my phone. I didn't get a photo with her. I had 3 days with her on set. And I think that story that experience and possibility landed for me, not for the fact of Janet Jackson and to put on my resume, which it is on my resume.
Yeah, of course.
it was more for me internally to say, oh my gosh, I let that go for a second. And not like I wasn't intentional with, I'm going to let it go. It was just something I'm like, it just floated somewhere. And it happened. And after that, I was like, I don't even care if I don't share this on my social media or wherever.
Yep.
It's sitting right here for me that
hold this in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you should never stop. It doesn't matter how old you are. Like, I ended up working with her when I was 32 years old. And it was like, that was the point where, and a second child. And I was like, oh... that was that point, but that's when it landed and it said, keep going. Keep going with imagination and creating and being the creator of not just your dreams and goals, but your day. Because anything can happen. Anything can happen. When unexpectedly it will happen. And so that's something I wanted to say. That was when it landed for me that, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Love that. I absolutely love that. And I think such an important part of that story is the time, right? People have these things and they think because it hasn't happened in a month or a year or 2 weeks or something, then I don't believe in manifestation anymore.
Yes.
And it's like, just wait. Like things are lining up in the background. You don't know. But the only way that you're going to cut that is by consciously going, I don't believe in it. It's not happened. So it's really that process of holding on to it. You don't have to be thinking about it all the time every day. Like universe knows what you want once you declare it. Yeah. But it's sort of like just really being able to have that faith. It all comes back to faith.
Have that faith, have that joy, have that childlike inner child joy for it. And as if it's happened and it just feels like fairy dust just all over you. It's a combination of things because we can think it and this is what I'm manifesting, but then there's nothing happening here and there's no feeling. You can't feel it. You can't feel that vibration and that frequency around your body and in your juices and stuff like that. That's why I was saying to you earlier, I had to reflect on that time when you just felt, you felt this feeling, I don't know, but if you felt it when you were young, but when you were young and maybe that's the imagination, you talk to whoever and everyone's looking at you going, who is she talking to? And so, and that's why I lead, like with my children, especially Micah who's 10 now, like I love when she gets into that phase. Yeah. We love it when she's just like in her juices and creating things, and I'm like, you go, sister, you do your thing.
That's the thing. She's got to be like one of the greatest teachers of the whole family as well, because she's just free, right? Like look at her go.
Just free, and I use her as an example in my classes. She comes to classes with me, and I say to us adults, I get it. We've got responsibilities and we have lives, but just watch her in the corner and get some inspiration from a 10-year-old that does not care about who's at the back of her. She's just looking at herself in that mirror and enjoying every movement. Yeah. And even I might be doing one step and she makes up another step and she doesn't even care. So I'm like, I really take inspiration from them as well.
That's so beautiful. I love that because they are reminding us of what it was like when we didn't judge every single thing we did, right? It's like they're the ones, we're trying to get back to that state. So if anything, I see the classrooms reversed is exactly what you're doing. The kids are sort of the teachers, Yeah. That's incredible. So speaking about being a mum, I'm sure you've heard this before, but you do make it look like it's a bit of a breeze. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not always that way. But also the fact that your kids have joined your creative world and they've amplified the champion name, and you know, you guys are a force to be reckoned with, but you all seem so beautiful in your, like, I know you and Mike, I don't know the kids that well, but all of them, they just seem so beautiful inside and out. So first of all, thank you for showing that example of being a mum and also still following your passion. But was that a conscious decision? Was there a point where you went, I have to be able to maintain both? Or have you just sort of organically flowed and it's become what it is?
No, oh my gosh. I had my eldest Lexus at 19. So
Yeah, right.
like Rome, Mike and myself were young. We were in our dreams and our goals, tagging along a little child with us. You know, just in survival mode, in a sense of not survival like we were struggling or anything like that, just more so survival of just trying to get by, just trying to do what we do and make sure she's okay and move on. And then then we had Rome, and then now it kind of was like, okay, what am I doing? Like now mum, you know, and now I've got this and all the, like I was doing So You Think You Could Dance at the time. And so I'm trying to make them happy. I'm trying to be present. And then, you know, that was a bit of a challenge. Mike was releasing his album. And so that was a challenging time for me as far as what do I want to do? And I wasn't feeling my body the way it used to feel. And I wasn't feeling as strong as I used to feel. I think with Rome time, that's when I got into studying a little bit more about how the body works. And so I used to I had really great trainers, you know, Jimmy Mandukas, who was a boot camp coach, but he spoke my language, and I needed a mentor at that time. And it was more of a physical mentor. You know, I needed someone in my ear saying to me, you can keep going, champ, keep going. Keep going. What's your foundation? Always used to say that to me. And you always used to say to me, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And that stuck with me.
Love that.
That stuck with me. And he was a martial arts. His background was martial arts. But then he did this boot camp. And I was so committed to the boot camp. And he was like, look, I want to do one-on-one sessions with you because you're mentally there. And so he wanted to get the mind and my body connected. And so I learned a lot about that. I did sprint training because I wanted to learn about the feet, how feet works. I then did Joe Dispenza. I'm sure you know about Joe Dispenza.
I was going to say, can we talk about Joe? Yeah.
We call him Uncle Joe in the house because everybody does Joe Dispenza. But I did a few of his courses and learnt about energy centers. And so I combined all these trainings and figured it out in dancing. And so that's when I went into, okay, wait, this is not about the job. I'm not here for all the titles. That's when the title thing really was like, I don't want a title. I don't want to, I want to figure.
Self-belief specialist. That's it.
I want to go back. I want to go back to that feeling. I want to feel. I want to feel me. I want to go back to the intuition, the instinct. I want to go back to all of that. And so I had to go into the studying, the training mode, and I keep doing this. And I don't know, a lot of people think this is like, oh, I'm going downhill. I almost feel like, and I show my students that when we feel like we're just taking a little bit of a hibernation for us to shoot back up. And so, and I love that. I love the training phase. I love learning from others, you know. And so, so I did that, and then it made me, and then we would get messages on social media. Oh my gosh, couple goals. Oh my gosh, family goals. And that didn't feel right to me. That's when I said to Mike, this does not feel right. I don't like it when people say that, but yet I'm not seeing you because I'm busy working. You're busy working. The kids are doing their thing. So we really had to work on that together. And then same thing with the family. And then Micah came along, and that's when it was like, oh my gosh, it's really about my family now. And that's when I wanted to tap in more to the soul, because now I think I had the mind and the body, but it was the soul thing. And the way Mike and myself really connected was through soul. You know, we had this we'd had such great conversations, and we had the same dreams and the same goals.
Oh, she's
and
mini you, honestly. She's like, and she's going to amplify it even more because she's had you since day one. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's how we really had to work. We worked on it. And now that the kids are older, my daughter's in fashion design. So she's very creative in that world, and she has her own brand. And then Rome Dance, Micah, doing her stage shows that she does currently. And so we get together every Monday, and not just our family, we have extended group that now joins for our meetings every Monday. And this is when we just check in. We check in. We just, it's just about, okay, if this is what you're here to do, we got to move as a unit. And I always said this to the kids in the house first, that we work. I'm not going to do the whole old school parenting where it's like yelling and hitting and this and that and whatever. I don't do that. If you're not pulling your weight, then you're just messing up the system in this house. You know what I mean? And so that's sort of, it's all about open communication in this house. If you're feeling like, hang on, you reacted a certain way, I want my kids to say, hang on, Mum, that I didn't like what was said.
Yeah. Make them feel like they can speak as well. Yeah.
And so not in just the family unit, but also how we work together, because we all work together. And so, yeah, it has been over time. Like I say to people, we don't, it wasn't like, oh, we like
didn't work up like this.
I woke up like that. It has been a journey, but a beautiful journey, and it's always growing, and we love it. Like the kids meditate every day. They do breath work.
What?
I know Micah gets a little bit like, but she's into she's always like, are we going to do it? Let's go do it, or let's go for a walk. Like she'll want to do the walking meditation. But yeah, they're very much a part of it. And that's why I was saying Uncle Joe. We call him Uncle Joe because we're like, what would Uncle Joe do?
Honestly, I love that. He was one of the reasons I woke up. Like his book, Becoming Supernatural, like caused me to have an awakening. And I was like, what is going on? And he's the one who showed me that I could heal myself. I had this problem with my back from an injury from work, picking up way too much gear on this big shoot one time, and it was about a 2-year injury, and I was paying so much money every week for physio. I was trying chiro, I was doing remedial massage, all these things, way too much money. And within 10 minutes I healed that with one of his meditations, and I was
I love that.
Okay,
oh my gosh,
now
I love
what's
that.
Possible.
Yes.
But that's the thing, right? You get to a certain age, or, everyone has their different ages that they start to wake up. But for me, it was quite late. It was 30, 31.
Yeah.
Everything's just, it really is like the Matrix. You start to go, oh my gosh, I'm creating my reality. I didn't realize that. I was thinking all of these things. I was living in all these patterns. And when you have someone like Joe Dispenza, who's got the science to back it up, and he's teaching you all of the methods as to how to actually do these things in your own life, it's just incredible. I'm so grateful for him. He's had such an impact on the world, right? And it's so good. That makes a lot of sense that you guys are really like involved in his work.
Oh my gosh. And can I tell you another quick story about manifestation?
Of course.
Or something?
Oh, I love that.
I was in Melbourne for a job just the beginning of the year for 8 months, and I was having a tough time, right? I was just having one of those times where it was like, what am I doing? What am I doing in this job? Mike came to visit me. It was the same time Joe Dispenza was there for one of his conferences, or sorry, he did something in Melbourne. And I wanted to go so bad, but I couldn't get off work. So I said to Mike, you have to go for us, right? You got to go for us. Anyway, I'm about to go to work. We meditate on the banks of South Bank. We're on there and we're meditating, and we get up and we're walking back to the hotel so I can go to work. And Mike says, isn't that Joe Dispenza in front of us? Oh my gosh. Like, you would have thought I'd seen some celebrity, and I was
that's
like, no.
That's the thing, right?
And and while I was meditating, I was like, please just give me a sign. Give me a sign that I'm doing the right thing. Like, it just something, because my heart right now is just not feeling right being here. I want to be back home. Just give me a sign. And I get up and Joe Dispenza's there, and I just went, and I ran up to him, and I was just like, I just
you talked to him?
To say, yes,
like the only rock
course.
star I care
The
about.
only
You know
rock
what I mean?
star.
Like he's the one. He's literally like, oh
You
my
know,
gosh, what did you say?
It was, we were so giddy. We were like, we said, I just ran up to him and I said, I'm sorry to bother you, but are you Joe Dispenza? And he turned around and he said yes, and he smiled, and we were like, oh my gosh. And I said Mike was going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask for a photo, but at the same time, I was like, he was
Yeah.
there with his partner. That is like, no, don't do it.
Good on you.
You got it.
Yeah.
And so he went for lunch, and I swear I was like this, smiling the whole time. And
oh my gosh.
yeah, and that's another thing. Like, it just, I can't explain it. I can't explain that's what just that saying, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And it's like, man, when we do our breath work and we do our meditation and we go out into the day and we walk and we get that juicy feeling, it's like, I want to take this feeling and put it in every space I'm in. I want to share it because I feel like there's a lot of lack of that. And so if it could be just us, these little groups, whether it's my family on social media, whether we're on set or whether we're just going for a walk or whether it's at home or whatever it may be, if we can just bring a little bit of that in this space, and I think it would just change the world. Like, if
honestly,
we all can
it's the ripple effect.
The ripple effect. And so that was
that is incredible, because
Yeah.
he honestly is, I mean, that's on my bucket list to be able to go to one of his seminars. I mean, it's at the point where people who are blind are walking out with their sight. People with stage 4 cancer are walking out in remission. Like that's the sort of concert you want to go to, right? It's like, that's incredible, the way that he is changing people's belief system. And I love that he always references the 4-minute mile, how no one believed that a mile could be run in 4 minutes. And then eventually, when it was done, suddenly everyone can do it. And that's what's happening now with our healing of ourselves. It's like we're all going, well, if they can do it, oh my gosh, I can do it. What else can I do?
Yeah.
And it just, we're opening our consciousness, and this is the big, amazing time that we're living in now. But I love that you've been able to harness his teachings, and you're doing all of the beautiful things, like the science-based things, the spirit-based things, and you're doing it within dance as well, and within the arts industry. Like, that's what we're meant to do, right? Take our passion, take all of these learnings, these lessons, these beautiful truths that we never knew about, and then just with your passion, you're like amplifying it, and you are lighting up rooms everywhere you go. That's incredible.
Thank you. And I think that's why, like, for example, me at the beginning feeling the way I did within this job in Melbourne when I was there, I've always been someone that's like, yay. And then this job really hit me so hard. But when I seen him, and like you're talking about the 4 mile, it's like, you almost go, you know what? I'm going to put my hand up for this. Like, I actually give it to me. Give it to me, because I know my purpose for being here on earth is that. I feel like I'm one of the soldiers that has been put on earth to go through it so that I can share it and show that, you can run that 4 mile. I did it. So
100%.
let's open the minds for others. And that's how I mentor. Like, I don't want to be one of those teachers. And I say this to Mike all the time. We always conversate this, right? Like, now I'm in the training period where I want to, even though I'm 43, I almost want to go back to, I think of Michael Jordan, where I want to go back to the training phase, so physically dancing and so forth. And I want to feel all the doubts and the feelings and stuff, so that I can say to someone, I recognize it. I know exactly what that is. Let's try these things. I just don't want to be a teacher where it's like 5, 6, 7, 8.
No,
like,
you want to have walked the walk. So you go, here's what it feels like, and I see that in you, and now I know how to help you work through that.
100%. And that it's okay. That's the thing that I just did a talk the other day, a panel, where it's like, it's okay to not know what to quote right now, if that's the problem. It's okay if you don't know which lane you're going through. It's okay if you got underpaid or overpaid or what. It's okay. Now let's just learn from this. Let's keep moving forward. Let's find the joy in that. Let's find the lesson in it. Let's start, it's almost like let's stop looking at the downfall of it and go, oh, that's it, I'm done. Let's go, okay, cool, thank you. I'm going to put my hand up for that. Thank you for giving that to me, because now I know for next time, and I'm going to go back to imagination, and stay in that field, because and that's why when talking about creating your own lane, I don't mean you just make these lanes and you just and you want to show it. It's almost like you have to go through these little mazes, and you eventually the lane starts to open, and you start to find your tribe, and you start to find people that go, yeah, I connect with you. Like, what are you doing? Oh, cool. And I also know at some point my children aren't going to be with me forever, as far as working with me or even taking advice from me. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but I know that in order for them to create their own lanes and their own journeys, they're gonna have to come to me for a bit and then venture off to someone else, and who knows, come back around and then go. But again, it's okay. And that's the thing where I want to be that self-belief specialist for someone, even if it's a conversation over coffee, and go, yo, I just love the fact that you even to chat. Like that already is showing so much more than maybe trying to do it yourself or just giving up. It's
so true. It's really, that's such a huge one as well, because it's the self-doubt and the focusing on the problems and the negative self-talk about everything, and the should. I want the word should to be eradicated from the dictionary, because that has just messed with a lot of people. I think I should be doing this. I shouldn't have done that. And like you said, I love this because I'm always talking about this. Your biggest challenges are your biggest teachers. You just don't see it at the time. You're being chiseled. You're being chiseled to be able to be your true self, so that you can literally, like you're saying, be able to teach other people and know from a heart-based place, going, oh, I know that feeling. Yeah. And I'm going to be able to help you to overcome it quicker. Do you have anything that you're comfortable talking about in terms of a big teacher of your life, which means a big challenge that you've overcome and what you've learned from that? Have you had anything that's really like, whoa, at the time I thought I would not get through that, but I came out the other end a completely different person, like an initiation?
Yeah. Okay. For me, the physical challenges, knock on wood, I almost feel like, when I was talking about the boot camp and stuff, I almost feel like, okay, I got this. Like I could fight through something, right? I kind of feel like I have this confidence. For me, the biggest challenges is like, and this is being very honest, is for me right now, it's more family and maybe my interactions with my family that wanting to love a lot more and a lot deeper, and it's so interesting. Like I can do that with Mike and the kids. I can even do it with strangers. You can treat me so bad, I'm so cool, I'll give you love and we can move it on. With me, it's like the family. And then it almost feels like it's more like going way back. It's like changing old thinking, and I feel like that to me is where my biggest challenge has been for years, and probably showing up a lot more now. Okay. And I've been through things. I've been through so much, and I've shared this on other chats. Like in South Africa, I was abducted. I talk about it so casually, probably because I don't have a connection to it, and I'm not.
You've healed the trauma from it.
Yeah, and I'm not just disregarding if it's happened to anyone. I just feel like I've healed from that. I've healed from any past relationship experience. I've healed from any work stuff. For me right now, it's just more, I think, because I'm now on a spiritual journey. it's those things. And I've done this spiral, and I don't know if you're aware of the spiral course where
someone just mentioned that the other day, but no, I don't know about it.
Yeah. Anyway, and so it's a long process, but when I did do it, and I cleared a few density in the body and energy centers and stuff, but there was I did it through Alpha Mama, and she had said to me, there's going to be a period where you feel like you're on this high and you got everything is just flowing, but then you're going to have to go real deep. And that's like even past generations when you weren't around. And it's so interesting. That's where I'm at right now. It's almost like, how do I, and for me, it feels like love. I tend to touch here. That seems to be my thing. Like my brother has an illness as well. And it's almost like loving him deeper.
Yeah.
And learning the lessons even through his journey and him going through it on his, he's on his own. He hasn't got a partner or anything. But like just almost feeling so guilty for having a great life and physically fit, and still, there's that part where you don't want to let the guilt eat at you, but I want to understand it. And but my challenge, I guess, is where I'm sitting with now. It's not, I feel like I always believe that when you have this deep feeling or this something that you're working through, it's almost like there shouldn't be a force in trying to fix it. It almost should
surrender.
Surrender, exactly. And so I feel like I'm in that stage right now where I'm surrendering. And I don't know if I believe in God, and I'm just listening to the conversations and also like little things, like we tend to, for me, I noticed that, like I was saying, it could be anyone else, and you give the most to other people, but when it comes to your family, you tend to give them half-ass. And that saying again, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. It's almost like, okay, wait, let me understand this right now. And to be honest, that's been my biggest challenge. Like, shit.
Thank you so much for sharing and being so raw, because I think that so many people are going through something similar to that. But what I heard, I can't remember where I heard this, but it really blew my mind, and I was like, that's it. They were talking about when you go through an awakening, when you start to tap into your spiritual side and you're doing all the work like you're doing, you can do all the work in the world. You can be healed as fuck. Then go home to your family and see how you do. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, I feel so much better, because I feel like I'm doing so well, but then you go and interact with your family and all these ancestral traumas and wounds and things come up and you're like, why am I even acting this way? I'm better than this. What's happening? And then you beat yourself up. So like you're saying, it's that just observing it and surrendering and trying to find that flow again. But I have no doubt that, we all, when we go through those low parts, whether they're looked at as low or not, or just the surrender, it's preparing you for the next lift off. So the fact that your biggest challenge right now is all heart-based and you're putting so much care and attention into that, that's huge. That speaks volumes for your character. It's beautiful.
And I do feel like this will, like, all that hard shell stuff was
the masculine energy.
Yeah, the masculine, because my daughter always says that. She's like, you need to be in your feminine because you're way too masculine.
I'm still working on that as well.
I feel like that was great during this whole time, like through my career and getting me to where I am. You know what I mean? As far as career and just with the family and stuff like that. I needed all of that. Right now, in order for me to maybe even release my children into the world, I need to sit in that feminine energy and also to release, say, my mother, to release myself. It's that, and then it going into, I've got two older brothers. Same thing for them, and you start to, like, you just want everyone to just feel loved, and you want them to feel the love, and you want them to share love. So when you do the work, as you would know, you're just like, oh, you look at someone, you go, oh, I just hope you're having a beautiful day today.
Yeah. And then the other hard lesson is that when you go to teach someone that's not ready to be taught it, or you try to share it, it's like, that's a big trap as well. You can get, you're trying to push something on someone and they're like, I'm not ready to hear this. What's going on?
Yeah. And then, like you said, that's when you learn that lesson, going back to your family is like, oh shit, yeah, we are. Okay. And so, it's that if I had to say what the challenge, that would be it, but it's a beautiful one because this is the most, I now understand the word understanding, like understanding that I now, or even being invested in my mum's past or in my dad's past or in my brothers, like what their journey is. Now I'm like, okay, shit, okay. I better just chill with my attitude over here.
Definitely feel that. Not about you, about me. Like, I always bring that, like, but you got to know this, but and people are like, calm, like, that's not my path right now. Like, calm down, woman. I'm like, oh yeah, I just look like a crazy person to you. That's fine. Okay, cool. So I know you're a busy woman. We will wrap up really soon. I just have a couple of final questions.
Yeah.
So I have 3 actually. So first one is, what are 3 qualities that you value most in yourself?
Ooh. Okay. 3 qualities. Sheesh. Ooh.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is.
Take your time. There's so many.
I was so quick to like tell you other people, which is probably myself. I'm extremely a considerate person. Considerate in the sense where I get really, woo, jeez, this is a hard one. That's one quality I like, when someone is considerate of others, how the choices they make, and because I'm very big on that, like how I speak to you, how I walk into a room, what energy am I bringing in the room? Are you good? Like, or if I see someone feeling challenged, I'm always like, wait. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. Let's get this.
You've got that empathy that you just feel what they're feeling. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe is considerate the word? I guess it's the word.
It's that whole collective of, I think you're empathic, you're compassionate, you're considerate.
Yes.
Definitely. It is hard to talk about yourself like this, isn't it? But it's so beautiful.
Quality.
And
shit, I wish Mike could tell you what good qualities
maybe we should do that. You can do Mike's and he can do yours. I'm gonna get him on in a few weeks.
Yeah. No, that's one big thing. Honesty is one of my biggest. Like, I mean, if you've watched The Bridge, if anyone,
I haven't yet. I don't have TV. I need to get it. Can I watch it on like the internet?
You can watch it on Prime.
Okay, cool.
I got to tell you how I'm feeling. I got to tell you. I can't bullshit anyone. Yeah. At work, I don't care what corporate I'm working with, what brand.
Love that. Good.
I'm very, if someone is, also my kids like hate this, but if someone is extremely rude with, say, customer service or to someone else, I'm that person that is like, excuse me, that was very unnecessary. You know, I'm like very like, I got to just say it. Like even now, like sharing, I can't hold back. I can't give you just the good stuff in the back or whatever. I'm just really like,
I love that. You're real.
And I want to live that honest life. What's another? Oh, shit. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think those two for now.
That's okay. That's more than enough. It's
Give me a
beautiful. There's so many. I think that's the problem here. There's so many.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for the child version of you who's just sort of starting out on this career, on following her passion? Like, what would you sort of say to her that you've learned now that you sort of go, if someone had told me this, it would have just maybe crystallized the vision a little bit cleaner, or...
I would. That's also a really good question.
We love a good challenge here at Trajectory.
Yeah, that's because I actually love the journey. As crazy as it was, I loved the journey. I learned so much. I think the one thing I will say is don't judge the person you didn't want to be. Okay, wait, maybe I'm saying this wrong. Let me say it one more time. And maybe you can help me with it. I'm just going to explain it quickly. I had so many not different personalities, but as a teenager, I know what I want, and I do my thing. I even do it solo. I was solo. I wasn't really with cliques and stuff. And so people used to always judge me that either I had attitude or I was very self-centered. And because I'm also very honest, and I would say it like it is, and then people's reactions would be like, oh, and yeah. I'd go, oh, why did I do that? And then...
So don't be afraid to trigger other people by your bright light.
Yeah. And I say that in my things as well. Don't turn your
light down. It's always hard to do it.
Everyone,
it's hard to talk about yourself. Like, this is the thing.
Yeah. And that is one thing I always regret. I used to regret the way I was when I was younger, and I regretted personalities and always wanted to change it to be better for others. But now I'm like, I needed to be that in those times. I needed to, because I was 19 having a baby, and I had to be that girl. I had to be that girl during that time. And over years, after a while, I was like, oh, I wish I wasn't like that. I wish I was nicer. You know, I wish I wasn't as standoffish.
Nice doesn't move mountains.
Yeah. And so if I had to, I love that. Don't dim your light. I mean, I say it in my classes all the time for anyone. And don't doubt that person you had to be at this. Don't judge it. Don't doubt it. Don't question it. Don't regret it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to be, and I had to do, and I did those things, and I had to learn from it. And so, yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You were being authentic, which brings us to the final question. Yes. This is what I ask everyone. So what is your definition of the true self? What does that mean to you? That's what I want to see everyone embodying. So everyone has a slightly different way of describing it, but to you, what does it look like to be your true self?
Woo! You and the questions. What is it like to be your true self? I don't know. I keep coming back to trusting your imagination, your intuition, instinct, and and being the creator, like creating every day with your imagination. And when we think imagination, you automatically think of joy. You automatically think of divine and magnificence. And I think if we can do that and rehearse that and learn from it, you just tapping into the true every part of your energy centers, or if you want to call it chakras, you're tapping into every bit of it, every bit of those power points, and it will just exude, and it just naturally, I just feel like, I don't want to say be original, I don't want to say that. It's almost like trusting in all of those things, your imagination, your intuition, your instinct. That is the true self.
I love that. That is so beautiful. Oh, I love that. Yeah, sorry, I'm dropping the big ones on you at the end.
I know. I love it. I love the questions. Love the questions.
I'm so grateful for your time, Tiana. Thank you for being here. How do people get in touch with you if they want to, work with you, or are you teaching any dance classes, or are you at the point where you're sort of like, I got enough work, don't anyone contact me?
Yeah. At the moment, no. I'm currently working on a theatre show, and so I've been on tour, and then I go again until I get back to
Sampa, is it?
No. So this is Anne Juliet. It's Max Martin's theatre production. Who Max Martin's like a big music songwriter, writes for everyone, legend. And so I'm back in Sydney in 2024, and then but yeah, just social media, Tiana LC, or Chilling with the Champs. I will be doing classes when I get back, but it's just been nice. I think when I had my break between tours, I was working with Sampa, and so I haven't had a chance to just be home and be mum and, be the mummy Uber driver.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
But then, when I get back, I'm creating my own show, which you have to come and see when it.
Yes.
I will let you know. And
please.
this really taps on everything we're talking about right now, and it's through movement, it's through sound, and it's something that I'm excited to inspire. I want to be inspired by myself, and so it's going to be a big one for me, and I'm really excited. So just social media. I'm here.
Follow
out.
the journey of Tiana.
Yeah, and again, like I said, just a chat, like. Reach out if it's just hey, can we just have a conversation just to start it off, and because sometimes you just need to say stuff, and then you're like, I already knew the answer,
100%.
So I'm here.
That's beautiful. Amazing. We'll have a beautiful day, and thank you so much for your time. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye.